Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Gamescast. It is March the 10th. March the 10th.
I thought you were waiting to figure out what time it was, and I was going to be like, it's 9 o'clock. It's always 9 o'clock.
I mean, Derek,
It is.
Derek, to be perfectly honest, what is
Eastern.
time? What is time these days? Like time is
a human creation. By the way, get ready for U.S. folks, daylight savings on Saturday.
I was just gonna say that.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. Lose an hour. But you know what? I'm good with it because I'm tired of feeling like we're all living in eternal fucking night. So I bring it on.
The time
I'd
of
say.
day is not going to fix that for me, but okay.
It's a
I work nights. Turning it back an hour sucks.
No, we're jumping
man.
forward. You're going to
Jumping
short
forward
shift.
an hour.
Yeah, forward. Yeah, we're jumping forward an
At
hour.
2 o'clock,
Spring forward.
it immediately becomes 3 o'clock.
That's right.
So overnight shifts are shorter.
Well, whatever.
Anyway.
Derek, I am drinking this old fashioned I made with some Buffalo Trace.
Okay, Buffalo Trace is good for that.
That's good
It's
shit
a
right there.
naturally very sweet bourbon.
With a little brown sugar.
A little hint of caramel in there.
Yeah, with a little brown sugar, some orange peel, and a little bit of bitters. Yeah, that's the shit right
You
there.
need to pour me a drink. But
So
I'll wait
why
until we get into the games.
I was gonna say, why didn't you?
Because I'm who I am as a person.
You normally come prepared.
Yeah.
So kind of a slow week this week, in some ways. As everyone knows, we had a state of play, which we will be getting into.
I think there's plenty to talk about in that state of play. I mean,
there is, yeah.
it catered to me, so.
Well, I'm speaking like from like a big industry news perspective. It was kind of slow, but
Yeah,
there's still
John,
plenty to
you
talk
were
about.
going into this like we're seeing Final Fantasy 16, and I was like, I never expect.
Look,
I never expect.
16 would be at the last 3 state of plays.
Right.
Look.
It's like me with Pikmin 4 at Nintendo Direct.
look, it felt right. Okay, it felt right, and it wasn't there. But we did get some other stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
I thought Finn was supposed to be here.
He had to back out at the last minute, but we might
that
have
stinks.
Britt later. Might. So.
Okay, cool. No, I would love to have Brittany in here. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the horn like we always do, and we're gonna talk about what we've been playing. And I've definitely got some impressions of a couple games to drop tonight. So I will not go first because I'm usually the quickest one. It's not going to be that way tonight. So
Yeah.
who wants to kick us off?
I will go first because I'll be relatively quick.
Perfect.
I've only been playing Elden Ring still. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That game is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's real good. I finally got to a point where I can respec, and I mentioned on the last show that I went for like kind of a samurai build, kind of the mixed strength and dex, going like quality.
Correct.
And it wasn't really working out for me, weirdly. So I respec'd into like dex and faith, and that has been like, oh, I've got it. This is my path forward. And also I think there's a point you hit in Elden Ring where you start to have a lot more options available to you. You've got multiple different good Ashes of War and good like summons, and you have like a couple of good weapons and abilities to work with and a couple different directions to go in, and you really get that feeling of like, I'm not going to hit a wall for a long time, or at least not going to feel walled in. So, yeah, I'm in a good spot. I'm in a good spot with Elden Ring, and I've got a lot more to go. Which is great because I don't have any planned purchases until Kirby in like, what is that, 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. I gotta tell you,
I got 2 weeks to beat Elden Ring before the real game of the year arrives.
I am.
Right.
I'm 100 hours into Elden Ring, and I have not finished it. I am in no rush. I am doing fucking everything.
I gotta say,
Everything.
this has got to be the first time there's been a game with like a 97 critic average that I have just zero interest in.
But I
It feels
respect
nice
your
not to have
ability
that
to hold
FOMO.
out and not,
me too.
not hit the FOMO. I respect that.
I've played the Souls games. Like, I'll grab it on sale down the road, but it's like, I'm just
me
not
too.
interested in having my ass fucking handed to me.
Do
right
not
now.
let the FOMO win. It always breaks my heart when I see friends like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, but I gotta buy it because everyone's talking about.
Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
We've got one guy in the SDGC Discord, John. He bought and refunded it 3 times on Xbox. He even posted his email inbox.
Is this
And you
Peter?
could see like purchase, refund, purchase, refund.
Why would you do that?
This
is Peter, right?
It's like, I want to play this. So he's
I
like,
think it's Scott.
Oh.
So don't look. So if you have to try to force yourself to to enjoy a game, it's not the game for you,
We
and that's
all have
fine.
too long of backlogs to be doing this shit to ourselves.
Also, there's so much good shit out
Yeah.
right now.
There are
that,
so many
like,
fucking good games out.
that like. I mean, I probably would have caved on Elden Ring if I wasn't playing 2 other games that I'm having an absolute blast with, at the same time. Like, but I'm in no rush to get to Elden Ring.
Nor should you be.
We got all year.
It needs a few patches before I think I'll want to jump in.
It's in a much better shape than it was only 2 weeks ago, but still needs a little work.
By the way, there is something I discovered in Elden Ring that is going to make it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for hidden shit, but it also is going to infuriate you because it's just going to make you wonder about what you're missing. You know how hidden walls are a staple of the Souls franchise, right? There's fucking hidden floors, Derek.
Fuck off.
No, I'm not bullshitting you. I have found 3 hidden floors with stairs leading down to good shit.
How dare you tell me that before I've had a drink to soften that blow?
I'm just letting you know. One of them is in the Dragonburn ruins. I'll start you there.
You don't need to tell me anymore. I'm going to go fucking pour a drink. Somebody else talk about what they've been playing because fuck Elden Ring. God damn it. Shit.
Jeff, you want to go, man?
Damn it.
Jeff, you're muted, baby.
Damn it! And Britt's not even here to make fun.
Britt's not even hard. Yeah, don't worry. We'll.
Justin could go next if you want.
Justin, you want to go?
I'm still playing Horizon and Destiny. I'm just bouncing between the two, having a wonderful time.
Have you done the raid? Have you done the Savathun raid?
Well, okay, the raid's not Savathun. I've completed the campaign. The raid is separate. I haven't done the raid yet. I only just hit the recommended power for it. Plus, here's one thing that I guess just the kind of the thing that bums me about service games in general is like you have to do so much on other people's time. Like I work nights and weekends. I basically can't ever get a group together to raid, unfortunately, because the time it's a pretty big time requirement. You need 6 people, but I'm not available during those times.
So do you not fight Savathun in the raid? Is she not present in this particular raid?
She is not a part of the raid. All the Witch Queen expansion stuff is okay. I don't want to spoil it. So the raid is very cool.
But essentially, they're going to spend some time building her up before you actually confront her.
We'll see. they can go a few ways with it. I don't want to spoil it for people.
Okay.
I actually thought the campaign had a pretty cool story, and they finally got some of the stuff right. I think Savathun had a really, really cool story and build up.
I've heard a lot of people compare it to the Taken King in terms of quality.
It's basically Taken King 2, essentially.
Yeah.
But the thing that is, I think, different about this one is it feels like Bungie knows exactly where they're going with Destiny. They finally it's not just, hey, we're trying some stuff and we're going to see what people think and then adjust based off of there, or going through old ideas that have been scrapped and bringing them back. It's like, no, they have a trajectory that they want to go on. They're leaning into it, and it's just really cool. I'm just so happy with some of the lore and story stuff that they've done with Witch Queen. They've really done a great job story-wise, which is something that Destiny has very much struggled with in the past. I'm really looking forward to the weekly stuff that they've been adding story-wise and lore-wise. There's some genuinely amazing moments because I've always been into the lore of Destiny, and some of the stuff that they throw at you in this campaign is huge for that, and it's stuff that they've been building to for this whole 8 years, and now they're finally heading down a real path with it. I'm just having a lot of fun. Destiny.
Oh, that's what's important.
I didn't really the way the seasonal model was set up, didn't really click for me previously, but now that I'm back into it, everything's coming back to me. I'm getting used to how the systems have changed and adjusted since I last played. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I'm really glad Bungie delivered, because there were some huge expectations on this expansion, and they absolutely delivered what people were expecting. And I mean, I'm still also just cleaning up a lot of side stuff in Horizon. I'm trying to get the platinum. I'm like 92% of the way there or something like that. So yeah, I just been bouncing between those two games, having a good time, and yeah. I mean, I've been a fan of Destiny for a long time, but was a big fan of the first Horizon. Both Witch Queen and Forbidden West really delivered for me. So
that's right, dude. That's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
Like, especially now, dude. Like, we're all living in troubled times, so find enjoyment where you can.
Literally whatever you can.
Yes.
It's also been a while since I had like a big game release for me. Like, there was stuff that I played and enjoyed and stuff, but like both of these were big releases and they came out 4 days apart.
Yeah.
And stuff. So like the fact that they both, lived up has been very good. So
well,
that's all I really have to say about those.
I want to give a quick shout out to a friend of the podcast who is watching right now. I won't name drop you because I know that you've got some issues with anxiety and stuff like that. But what I will say is I know you've been going through some stuff, and we all love you, bud. You're a good man, and we all appreciate you. You know who I'm talking to. I know he's listening because I see him in chat. You know who you are. Jeff, go ahead, buddy.
This is part of the show where everybody could tune out because I'm going to talk about cars. So I was.
No,
I'm all ears, baby. I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
For Jeff
Let's hear
talking
it.
about car games. Let's
hear it.
Go, dude.
So I missed last. I was playing Alan Wake, if you guys recall. I had to buy it twice because the PS5 version was busted with me, and I had this whole problem with the PC. Finally got it running, and I got slammed with this repetitive strain injury hand arm issue that I had about 4 years ago. Just felt like my arms got run over by a truck, filled with knives, and set on fire. Like, I couldn't lift my phone. I couldn't even tie it. Like, just working for 2 weeks was brutal. And I was like, fuck, this is like 2 weeks before Gran Turismo, which is like literally the only game I'm really looking forward to this year because I don't think Starfield is actually going to come out. So, I got back on the horse. I went back to physio. I feel like I was in a fucking Rocky movie, just like rehabbing the shit and stretching like 5 hours a day, just getting ready for this stupid video game. But like I'm feeling not great, but I'm okay right now. So I have actually been able to play. So yeah, I've been playing Gran Turismo 7, and I'm apparently all I play is games where you drive vehicles, Truck Simulator, Flight Simulator, Gran Turismo. I'm just not interested if you're not in a car. But Gran Turismo 7's been a long time coming. The last mainline Gran Turismo release was Gran Turismo 6 in October of 2013 on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, and it never came to PS4, even though it came out after the PS4.
So Gran Turismo Sport came out on PS4, and I think that one gets kind of a bad rap. It launched very light on content, but that was actually a fantastic game for what was there. It looked amazing on the PS4, and the core driving was good, and the online racing is still hands down the best online racing experience I've ever seen. Racing games historically have been a lot like fighting games because when you're traveling at such high speeds with such slim margins of error, the netcode, the connections are so important, and they've just never quite been there. On top of that, it's not really fun when you're taking a corner and some Blazer dude 420 just slams into you and sends you flying into a wall, and there's nothing you could do to stop it, and he has no repercussion. But Gran Turismo Sport really introduced a streamlined. So there was like two. There's a skill ranking, which was based on your placement in races, and there was a sportsmanship rating, which is based on how you drive. The game has a very detailed analysis of that, including how often you come into contact with other cars, the type of driving lines you take. They can tell if you're cutting people off and things like that. And so based on those, it'll match you up with people of similar sportsmanship and skill. And it actually resulted, you had to get through like an hour or two of just brutal races and just drive nicely, and then eventually you'd get moved up, and it would leave all the dirty players behind. And it's actually a really pleasant experience. So Sport was really good, and 7 just basically carries all that, but it brings back all the stuff that was missing from Sport. There was not really a campaign at launch. They patched some stuff in later, but it just really felt cobbled together. It was like just kind of random races. There was no structure. And 7, like the amount of content is just overwhelming. There's you can get gold medals for every single track. Basically, it's like it has you master each track. So there'll be like 4 or 5 sections of the track. You can gold each section. Then you have to get a gold medal on the full track to get a certain time. There's like these missions you can do, which some of them are just races, but some of them are really funny. So there's one where you just run a serpentine pattern and have to knock over all the cones and get a really good time on it. And there's one I just did today, which is the stupidest fucking shit. And I can't believe nobody would think this is fun but me. You're in a pickup truck, an F-150. You have like a liter of fuel, and you have to drive 4 miles. And you have to basically use the track inclines. So when it's downhill, you just don't gas. You just let the truck roll, and you have to drive as far as you can on no gas.
Also known as America Simulator right now.
You just feather the gas a little bit, and as soon as you get to the top of the hill, you just let it roll down. And it just goes like this. And it took me 29 minutes to drive 4 miles.
That's every truck owner in America the last week. So
that's so
especially
funny.
in my neck of the woods, Derek.
Holy crap, that is so good.
But and there's so that's just one example. There's so much variety in the game, and then it goes without saying. Like I think right off the hop, there's two things. There's one thing it did really good that I like, and one thing it didn't do that I also like. And the thing it didn't do is I think because racing games have declined in popularity, they were really big in the late 90s, early 2000s. We used to have like Project Gotham Racing, Ridge Racer, there was Gran Turismo before the days of Forza, but it felt like there was constantly new racing games come out. And then they kind of just, I think they're still big in Europe and UK where F1's really popular, but especially in North America, they're just not what they were. And Forza has kind of taken over, and now people, even Forza Motorsport, they've taken a few years off because I think they quickly realized Horizon is what people want. It's just wild and wacky and open world and stunting racing with your friends, and it's got really good racing too, but I think it would be very easy for Gran Turismo to cave and say, fuck it, we're just going to follow everyone else's lead. We need to bring back this mass appeal. Gran Turismo was the name it used to be, and they didn't do that. And I respect them for sticking to the roots. On the flip side, they aren't so arrogant as to stay in the trenches and not make any changes, because they really did fundamentally fix a lot of the complaints from sport and for previous games. And the result is a game that still has as much personality as it ever did. It's absolutely Gran Turismo. There's snobby, classy music playing in every single menu. The actual campaign is just sitting in a little cafe in Europe with wine glasses, and they hand you a book. And there's it'll be collect these 3 cars, and you head out and do races and collect the cars, and you come back, and the cafe owner gives you the history of these cars, and then he hands you a new menu with your new objective. So it's a little pretentious, but it works for the game. It's definitely unique.
As somebody who doesn't give a shit about cars, beside them taking me from point A to point B, dude, this game sounds like my kryptonite. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
But the cool thing is, I like racing. I used to watch IndyCar when they had a circuit here. I watch Formula One sometimes, but I don't know anything about cars. And I think the cool thing is that the game, there's all sorts. There's museums. There's history lessons. The loading screens. It really does a good job. Even if you don't know a lot about cars, if you're just a little bit interested, bringing you into the history of them and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Cars go fast. It's really fucking good. I will say the one big issue that I think is going to get some traction is the multiplayer is a little broken right now. So one of the problems with sport is Gran Turismo has always had a history of tuning your cars, customization, and it's pretty in-depth. The suspension height, playing with the powertrains, the turbochargers, all this stuff. I don't know what it means. I just see the words.
All kinds of good car nerd shit.
Yeah, but basically taking the car and adjusting it to run faster than it does from its stock settings. Basically overclocking your computer for all you nerds out there. And in sport, in Gran Turismo Sport, you just got cars and you couldn't tune them. So they just came as is, and what it means is everyone racing a Supra 07 in online is playing at the same field. What they've done in this one now is all the online races take into account the tuning customizations you made to your cars. So if you don't know how to tune your car, you will never be competitive in the online races. And that's fine because they're definitely going after the hardcore racing crowd. But the way it works is each day they have 2 daily races running every 30 minutes. There needs to be a third online race that's no tuning allowed, stock settings only, so that people who aren't as into it can just grab they can just grab a Honda Fit and just jump in and actually have a chance to keep up with the lead ones. So
I would love to race in a Honda Fit in a video game. Please allow me to race in a Honda Fit in a video game.
There's some fucking hilarious ones. There's one
isn't that the whole thing about Gran Turismo? is it's not just like supercars and racing stuff. It's like regular ass cars in there
love
too.
that.
I did a rally drift race in a World War II Jeep, and I did another race in a 17 horsepower Fiat. And like when they go to climb uphill a bunch section of the track, they almost come to a dead stop because they just can't make it. It's hilarious.
All I know about car racing, I learned from Initial D. All right, which has taught me that like old late 80s boxy city cars are actually the best thing you can race. So
you know what? That's actually on my Netflix to watch list, Eric, and it might be an anime that I
you
finally
would
watched.
like Initial D.
I think
it's
I
fun.
would.
Jeff, I have a quick question about Gran Turismo. So is Watkins Glen actually in the game? I heard it was.
Is what? Sorry.
Watkins Glen, the track.
I don't know.
thought that
It's a
was a
little
person.
Just because that's near me, I live near it, so I thought it was kind
It's
of
like
cool
me
when I
asking
heard
if
it might be in the
Churchill
game.
Downs are in a game, which
Yeah.
they wouldn't be because it's horse racing and there's not a lot of
Whoa,
that happening.
Man, Gran Turismo horses would be awesome.
Fund it.
So I haven't unlocked it yet because they basically the courses are tied to your career progression, so you unlock them as you go. But I just Googled it, and yeah, it is in the game. So that's kind of
Okay.
cool. I will.
Yeah, cool.
I'll pretend I see you in the stands when I'm.
Yeah,
when I'm driving that
pretend
one.
I'm just chilling there when you
Alright.
when you go around.
So I've actually got a question for Jeff. You know what? I may be completely misremembering this, but Jeff, did you play a lot of Drive Club?
I platinum Drive Club, and it was
Right.
actually my favorite racing game of last gen, which will shock a lot of people.
So here's the thing. Everybody knows that Drive Club shut down after a while, right? I think it was just like the fan base just dropped off or something, right, Jeff?
No, so what happened was the day they had a closed beta, and it worked really well. The day they launched, there was a critical network bug that they could not fix. They tried to, it didn't come up in testing. They had to rebuild the entire online infrastructure and code for the game
I do remember
from
that.
scratch.
And that was also after
I remember
a
that
year
now.
delay too.
Yeah. That
I
was right
remember
at,
that shit
yeah.
now. Yep.
So it took about 3 to 6 months. It did come back. It was very well received after that. What was
I remember
there was
that.
good. Yeah, it was too late by that point. Most of the people they would have got, the PS Plus version was also really weird. There was like a long time and there was 2 versions. It was super confusing. They just completely
because I mean the whole plan for Drive Club changed, right? It was initially supposed to just be on PlayStation Plus at the PS4 launch.
Yeah.
It came a year after launch. The PS Plus edition ended up not being the full game.
Yeah.
And then all the online stuff was broken for months. Like it was just
I do remember that.
It's
I
one
do
of the most
remember that.
troubled launches. I
So,
can think of a game.
and I knew I remembered you loving that game. So, granted, Gran Turismo 7 just came out. How does it compare to how does it compare for you? I'm curious.
I mean, it's definitely more polished, more content. I think Drive Club had a lot of cool, unique features at the time. The loading times were super quick. They're like Gran Turismo 7, they're almost non-existent as you expect from a PS5.
Drive
game.
Club was a gorgeous fucking game too.
It was
Like,
beautiful, and the loading times were really quick, but the online structure was really interesting. You know, this is early in the PS4 life. This whole idea of live service games and social gaming was still relatively new. It wasn't what it is now. So the way it would dynamically, like you'd be driving a track and all of a sudden it would show you a little section of the track and it's like, hey, your friend so-and-so had this time, try to beat them. And it would just pop up automatically. So it had like a lot of interesting online social features, which is why it sucked that the network went down for 6 months. But yeah, it's like different kinds of games. But I think Gran Turismo 7 is obviously, it's a bigger studio, a more experienced studio. It's definitely the better game, but I think Drive Club was still unique and there hasn't quite been anything like it since, even though it had its flaws.
So, Jeff, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about in regards to Gran Turismo before I kind of pick up the baton and start running with it?
Not really. The last thing I'll say is I can confirm I have seen a Hatsune Miku race car
Good.
already
Good.
in my first online
As
race.
it should be.
So,
As it
yeah.
should be.
I expect
All
nothing
right.
less. John, you have 2 separate games to talk about, which I have a lot of questions about both.
I've actually got several games to talk about, but the first 2 I'm going to mention very briefly, like in passing. 1, Chocobo GP, which I downloaded today. Fucking delightful
Wait, it's
game.
out?
Yep, came out.
Oh.
Yeah, it came out today.
Came out today. and delightful fucking game.
I thought that was tomorrow.
On Saturday, actually, one of us is going to be probably me. But anyone else here is welcome to join. Is going to be doing a little race with Good Vibes Gaming. So any one of the podcasters is welcome to join. Derek, I think we talked about this briefly in the past. But we're going to be doing a little race with Good Vibes Gaming on Saturday. I'll have to get back to you on the time because yeah. But Chocobo GP is fucking delightful. Like it's it's not Mario Kart, but it runs at 16 frames a second. It's got Final Fantasy characters. It's got Final Fantasy stages. If you're a Final Fantasy fan and you like Mario Kart.
Did you play the original Chocobo Racing?
I did, yes, on PlayStation.
Okay. So that's one of those rare kart racing games that's not Mario Kart that I think had a lot of like life of its own. Does Chocobo GP maintain that?
It does. I will say, so here's the thing though. The advent of microtransactions has not treated this game kindly.
That's the one thing I'm definitely a little like, is I hate seeing like real world, money shops where you've got to buy in-game money so that
like, for example, Cloud is locked behind a season pass.
Yeah. Well, that's if it's
not
DLC and season passes, I'm okay with that. But it's like,
but there's also like all of it. It sounds like
yeah. Like there's some microtransaction-y shit there. And
there's like battle passes. There's a lot of like free-to-play style monetization in a game that costs money.
Exactly.
Which is unfortunate because it does seem like this. Like, let me put it this way. I didn't really like the Sonic kart racing games that much, and everyone loved them. Chocobo GP looked like the closest thing to hitting like Mario Kart levels of quality that I've seen in a long time. And I love Final Fantasy and Chocobos. So
at $39.99, you can't go wrong on this one, in my opinion.
It's not full price. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like it's not a $60 game. Cool. It's not a $60 game. It's great. It is not going to people in chat reacting to my mustache. I guess people didn't realize I had one. It's not going, like, here's the thing. It's not going to dethrone Mario Kart. But if you like Final Fantasy and you like Mario Kart, this is an easy buy. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. Yes, Maddie, the stash will stay. Yes, it is not going anywhere. I like it. I appreciate that, by the way. Thank you. The other game
longer so you can go full Ted Lasso.
No, I don't think Vicky would appreciate that. But the other game briefly I want to talk about before we get into the other two is Triangle Strategy. Great fucking game. If you like HD, if you like strategy games, if you like Final Fantasy Tactics, you'll fucking love this game. It's great. The balance of story in between battles is a little long. Like sometimes you can story stuff can last like up to an hour between battles. But it's really good story, and the battles themselves are fucking great. It's top tier strategy RPG stuff, and some of these battles are really fucking long. So no, Jeff, I did not say it was a stinker. I was afraid it was going to be a stinker.
Oh, okay.
I was afraid it was, and it actually turned out being really
I felt
good.
like that was worrying for nothing, but
it's really fucking good, very fucking good. So the SDG, Jesus, Justin, fucking distracted me. So the two games I really want to talk about are Babylon's Fall and Stranger of Paradise. Now, Babylon's Fall.
We're just running the table on the four Square Enix games that
released
this month, right?
Square Enix was also a good chunk of that state of play. So this is a very Square heavy.
Yeah, it's a Square Enix. As super
Square's
Square Enix
fiscal year end at the end of March by any chance? Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I think Triangle Strategy and Babylon's Fall came out on the same day. And then this week was Chocobo GP. Next week is Stranger of Paradise. So we're just hitting all of them.
And then April 7th is Chrono Cross.
Right.
So up front, we received a code for Babylon's Fall from Square Enix. Thank you very much, Square Enix, for the chance to play that. And I'll be talking about my thoughts on the Stranger Paradise demo. And I know Derek, for one, has a lot of questions on some
I've
of this
got questions about both of these. Honestly.
I also played a bit of the Stranger of Paradise.
Right. So,
demo.
so,
I
so,
can ask
so
both
I
of
played
you.
both.
you
previous
can
ones,
absolutely,
so.
yeah. No, when we
Yeah.
talk about Stranger Paradise, you can absolutely jump in. So, Babylon's Fall. Okay, so here's the deal. Justin, you're not making this easier. So we are Square Enix sponsored content creators. That being said, I also have to be honest with you. It's not great. And this is, and like, look, it's not like we're the outliers here. You know, this is something that has been talked about by, I think, every major reviewer. It is this game, and Derek, I was telling you this because I called you about an hour into my playthrough, and I told you this absolutely.
I could hear the disappointment in your voice.
Well, but here's that was palpable. But do you remember when I told you this absolutely started life as a Nier game?
Yes.
110%. This started life as a game in the Nier franchise. It has the sound. It has the same sound effects. Platinum made it. The dodge mechanic is exactly the same. The combat, Jeff is shit posting in chat about Nier, and I won't stand for it. But yeah, I saw you, Jeff. But honestly, like it, I have to wonder what happened here. This game needed another year in the oven.
Platinum has been
Platinum's overextended
so
themselves
inconsistent.
the past few years.
Overextended is a good way to put it. Yes.
I think they've just taken on a lot of projects, and they haven't really had a lot of time to be able to focus on every single one. And it's kind of clear that this was not one that got the same level of focus as because we know Platinum is capable of making really great
good games. Like, and here's the thing, I'm not going to sit here and fucking shit all over this game, right? Like nobody wants to put out a bad product. That being said, like you can really see the, like, I have never played a game. It's been a decade since I've played a game where you could look at it and say, I can guess what the budget for this game was. And that's a big part of the problem here, is that whatever went wrong with the game, you will never convince me that this did not start life as a Nier game. And once whatever happened, and they pulled that.
It's Brit.
It's Brit. Hi, Brit.
Hi, Queen.
So, Brit, I just started talking about Babylon's Fall. So you're here for the.
So I came at a bad time. Good.
Yeah, whatever this is going to be. It is without reservation one of the most unpolished games I've ever played. There are no shadows whatsoever. There are no the font for everything looks like it was pulled from Microsoft Word.
John, you have been
any
on
font
the
can
warpath
be pulled
with fonts lately.
Yeah, any font can be pulled from Microsoft Word. That's how fonts work. I don't know what to tell you.
What I mean is that it looked like somebody just sat down on Microsoft Word and typed some font. Like this is not Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster stuff.
Anything to me.
It's
How do you
really
type
fucking
a
bad.
font? Like,
I don't
how do you
know,
just
man.
Type out
I'm trying to describe just how bad this game looks without like shitting all over it. Because that's not my.
Well, you said like a lot of the
here.
effects work is really rough around the edges, and you said that like you saw
Right.
issues with like models disappearing at certain random angles.
So
and
that's so that is one thing. So what I noticed is that when you're manipulating the camera, right? If you move too far up or down, your character just vanishes. But he doesn't really completely vanish. Your character is still there, but you can see a vague floating like halo outline of your character with some glitching in and out. So I know that's not something that's supposed to be there. Combat, there is zero feedback in combat, which really hit me hard, Derek, after playing Elden Ring for a week.
Yeah.
Right? Because combat there is really punchy. there's no feedback for anything in this game. Nothing has any weight to it. Not running, not jumping, not combat. And I need to talk about the character creator, because in the character creator you have the option to create a person of color, right?
Well, no, you don't, and I think that's the problem.
No, that's the thing.
In theory, you do.
In theory, you do. Really, what happens is it makes your white character tanned, and it is the most egregious shit I have ever seen in my life. And
see, what's sad is like I saw, Imran posted some clips, and a couple of folks in our circles were talking about this, and what's sad is I actually don't even think it's that out of the ordinary. Like, way too many games, especially Japanese developed, but not exclusively Japanese developed games,
right,
really screw up on character creator options with even like as basic things as skin tones. I've been making jokes about video games giving you, 30 shades of white, several shades of blue and green, and then 2 ashy shades of like purplish brown for ages. But yeah, it sucks. Like, we got to get better than this.
So like the other thing is what's really jarring to me is as you're running around, and granted, I've only put 2 hours into this game because that's so far that's all I could that's all I could manage right now. But you have 3 different weapons floating behind you that are connected to what's called your it's like guts. Like it's just called like your grimoire guts, or so I can't remember the exact word, but it's a G word followed by the word guts, and it's 3 weapons that are attached to your back by floaty tendrils that look like entrails, and these weapons just float behind you the entire time. They don't bob, they don't move, they're just sit motionless behind you.
That's kind of a Platinum thing. A lot of
as
Platinum
you're running,
games have that.
That's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool.
But when you grab one of those weapons, like a hammer, and you're wielding it, the hammer is still on your back. You're just wielding it in battle, but you can still see the model of the hammer on your back.
Oh.
And it's the same with the other weapons as well. It's not intuitive. Like my goal here, I don't want to.
It feels like I said before, it seems like Platinum has gotten overextended. But like also, this was a case of this was something that was probably developed mostly during COVID. They probably got hit hard by that. Platinum hasn't done a live service co-op game before. And I can't name a single one of those that launched in a good state out of the gate.
For sure.
I think this project was just a lot for the team, and it just doesn't seem to.
Do you think it could shape up if given time? You don't think it's don't know you think that it's just kind of this needed another year in the oven
nope. And to be honest with you, I think Square is going to just quietly sweep this one under the rug, as I believe they should. I mean, Derek, look at it this way.
I guess they've got enough other stuff coming out in the near future. But
on launch day on Steam, the peak players were. It was 650 players was the peak on Steam.
That hurts.
That's as many players. That was launch day.
Games, and that hurts.
That was launch day. And so I don't want to think about what it was on like PS5. Again, I've only put 2 hours into it. I don't know how much more time I'll put into it. I do want to reiterate that I do appreciate Square Enix giving us the chance to review it, and I'm very sorry to say that I just did not enjoy my time with it. Now, the game I really want to talk about is Stranger Paradise.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this weird shit.
The demo that I downloaded last night.
Who all played the demo?
I did.
I haven't had a chance to.
I also played both previous demos too.
So
hold on. There's been. I knew there was one demo before. This is the third demo.
This is a third demo for the game.
What the fuck? Most games don't get one demo. This game gets 3 fucking demos.
That's kind of the thing that that's kind of the thing that not Platinum, Team Ninja did with the Neo games as well, which is this kind of built off of. They did
and
two
those
early
network
tech
tests for Neo. The feedback they got on those was so valuable in helping them shape the final game. Like,
and I will say, from the little bit I've played so far, you can tell, gameplay wise, and performance-wise, they took a lot of the criticisms with the previous demos of Stranger of Paradise to heart.
We'll get into that. So
I'm so curious about this game. I've intentionally not touched a single demo and watched as little gameplay as possible because I think this might be my jam.
Okay, so
And I don't-
I actually think it might be.
Okay, so hold on. Let me set the stage here. And then I'm going to bring Justin in, and I want you guys both to ask us questions. I want all you guys to ask us questions. So last night I streamed it, right here on the channel, and when the actual gameplay started, like it tosses you into when gameplay starts, you go through the tutorial at the beginning is mandatory. You cannot skip it. You have to finish the whole tutorial. My first reaction, and the reaction of literally everyone in chat, was, "Oh, the resolution." I'm gonna be as upfront as I possibly can. This is not a very pretty game.
Is it? Do you think it's just something bugged up with the PS5? Now? There's no reason why the PS5 version.
I don't, because it apparently looks just as rough on PS4 Pro.
I'm not like. It looks about the same as the previous demos did, but at least the performance mode will run at 60 now.
Mostly
before the performance was all over the place. It was an absolute mess before, and it looked the same. The visuals have not improved, but at least it runs fairly stable.
But now. Justin will back up what I'm saying when I say that this is one of the blurriest current gen games I have ever played.
This game looks like that period where everybody was switching over to Unreal Engine 3 in the PS3 360 era.
Oh, so it's the motion blur. Is this cranked to?
No, it's just blur.
No, but the bloom, the way that like foliage and hair looks, the way materials look, it has that like old Unreal Engine 3.
So it's like Gears of War 1. Look to it.
Worse. And the thing is that the cutscenes are rendered at a higher resolution than the gameplay. So who here ever played? I can't remember which Call of Duty it was. I only played it for a second, but it was a PS4 era Call of Duty. It was the one with the frozen forest. You're stuck in a frozen forest.
Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3.
Right. The gameplay ran at 60 frames a second, but the cutscenes were 30. You guys remember how jarring that was?
No, because I played on PC.
Okay,
so.
but whatever, Derek.
They eventually did patch it, but yeah, it was really jarring.
It was really jarring. It's a similar thing here in where the difference in resolution between cutscenes and gameplay is jarring enough to where it's gonna bother you. I imagine maybe you'll get used to it after a while, but it was tough to get over for a while. So here's my fundamental issue, right? So this is a beginning slice of the game. And Justin, back me up here. I still don't know what's happening.
No. Okay. So the opening cutscenes jump between. So the actual first opening cutscene is raw as fuck. Like it's super cool. It's silly edgelordy shit, but it's actually kind of cool. It's like
this game.
Chaos going through and just wrecking a bunch of knights in a castle. That initially is really cool, and then it just cuts to a middle of a boss fight.
Yeah,
you're just playing a boss fight.
Tiamat.
And then then you get the boss down to half health, and it's like, oh no, and then it gives you the tutorial where you're just in a field of wheat, and then after that it cuts to a flashback of Jack meeting his. Running into the two other party members.
And literally his running into the other two party members is him walking into Cornelia, and they're like, "Hey, are you hunting chaos too?" And he says, "Yes, I must kill chaos." And they're like, we're gonna come with you. Our crystals are vibrating.
Yeah.
And that's
bro's gotta charge the crystals together, man.
Dude, that is the backstory for these three. And
I'm not kidding that he's 100% accurate with how he is telling that plays out.
I kind of love this. This is not turning me away.
But Justin, back me up here. I was not expecting them guys to lean into the "let's kill chaos" meme as hard as this fucking game does.
Okay, he says
Take
it
a fucking shot every time he says it.
He says it so much, but also I wasn't expecting multiple people to regularly be like, Jack, you need to smile more.
Yeah.
Like,
Smile. The princess
Normalize telling men to smile more.
dude, the queen
especially
of
men like
Cornelia.
Jack. Like,
The fucking queen of Cornelia is like, Jack, you'd look so much nicer if you just smile more. And he's just like,
in front of my daughters.
yeah, and he's like, ugh. But dude, like Derek, the way he describes having to kill Chaos, like Britt, I fucking swear to God, Jack is like, I don't just want to kill Chaos. It's like a thirst I have to quench. I need to kill Chaos.
You know, I can actually relate with that mindset. So more power to that fucker.
He says that he has a thirst to kill Chaos.
This game seems completely unhinged in like an unironic way. And I might love that.
Again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying, like about like the visual stuff looking like that era of like Unreal Engine 3 things, but it also is and it's funny because it's made by a Japanese developer, but it feels like that period where a lot of Japanese developers were outsourcing their games to Western studios.
This should have been like a dark Western like action game spin-off of Final Fantasy made on the early days of the 360.
Yeah, no, it really does feel like that project. But so we've got
this game straight up. This game. Well, hold on, Justin, real quick. This game straight up lifts menu assets from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Straight up. Like,
I don't care
fine.
about that.
It means they put more effort into the weird shit. And
So
John, I'm only picking this up for the weird shit.
But I will say, once you actually get into the dungeon and start playing, it's really fucking fun.
Y'all are breaking my fucking heart right now.
I mean, there's plenty to criticize, but I actually really enjoy the combat. Like, it's like a really good combat system. I like they do this thing where you can you counter with this. If you counter at the right time, you can actually like absorb enemy abilities, and then there's also puzzles. So related to that, so like the bomb, if you catch it and has fire, there are like vines and stuff that you can now burn up like in the dungeon. The core combat is really satisfying and fun, and you can jump between jobs. So you have
that part is cool. Like jumping between jobs on the fly in the middle of battle.
Yeah, it has the full Final Fantasy job system. And you jump between it, and you can equip. You just press a button and you switch jobs, and you can change customizations for combos and equipment, and you level each job up individually. But it's really cool. I think that system is really neat.
Here is the issue that I definitely see some people having a problem with, and Justin, you tell me what you think, but I can see the battle system being completely overwhelming for some people because there are 9 different gauges for your character on screen.
It's 9. One of those things that
and
it's one of those games that tries to tutorialize a bunch of stuff by giving you a bunch of text boxes, and it comes off as more confusing than when you actually just start playing and realize how it works.
Like text 13 text box tutorials.
Yeah.
You do gotta contextualize that better in the game.
It's
so overwhelming.
It's so silly, but it's very Souls-esque style combat.
I would say it's more Nier. I would say it's more, or not Nier. I'm sorry. It's more Neo.
Okay, well,
Which is
I just knew
Souls-like.
Neo was Souls. I haven't played Neo, but it's from the team that made Neo. So
right. So it's faster.
But also, I really appreciate that this has difficulty levels because I could just put it on a lower difficulty level and play it like a beat 'em up.
I was gonna say
because doing that and then these silly glory kills basically that you get, you take a Caxwar and throw it in the air and then turn it into crystal and then crush it in midair. And
also, by the way, this game, for being a Final Fantasy game, this game is fucking bloody. Holy shit! If you're killing, when you're killing enemies, you get blood spatters on you, to a fucking Dragon Age Origins degree. Jack's face is just fucking crimson, covered in blood, and I'm like,
the opening
Jesus
cutscene
Christ!
I look
is
forward
really
to
bloody. Like,
regressing to a 14-year-old and playing this
no,
game.
it's like that's what it is. Like this game is pure like early 2000s.
It will require me to go back in the closet, but that's okay. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make briefly.
I want to know if Britt has any questions about Stranger of Paradise. I want to know if Britt has any questions.
I got a question about Derek's sexual. We're not doing that. You're not doing that.
If I'm regressing to 14, that's part of the
God.
process. That's time reversal, baby. That's how it go.
Britt, what do you want?
My problem with Strangers of Paradise is my problem with every single fucking Final Fantasy game that has released lately is the females in it are just used as plot points or
100%. 110%. Now,
further the story.
Now there might be like a female party member.
There are two women that are party members. Okay. I have not seen them yet in the demo.
One of them is like the Green Ranger, right? That comes in like at the last minute, so that barely counts.
Yeah, I think the other one is Princess Sarah, right?
I don't know.
Well, there's only two women in the whole game world.
Yeah, so
I don't know, but
I'm
like,
sorry, I don't know that.
The princess stuff is very eye rolling.
The game gives off some real,
it is,
like
14-year-old edgelord vibes, and I'm gonna play it.
So hold on. Let me go ahead and say that if you were expecting to run around big towns and explore cities, that's not going to happen here. You get a menu, and if you want to talk to townspeople, like in the general area. Like you can talk to people in like, the throne room, for example, if you go to the throne. But if you want to talk to townspeople, you pick the townspeople from a list in the menu, and then you talk to that townsperson. But every townsperson talks to you in front of the same bench, in front of the same fountain. So
it's Forrest Gump.
It counts. It comes off as though like everybody's just lined up at the fucking bench to talk to you, and oftentimes it's just one sentence like, "Please go kill chaos," and like that's the end of the conversation. And the villagers are named like Angry Blacksmith, and Widowed.
Oh, thank God you finished that sentence. I was like, are you kidding me?
Angry Blacksmith and fucking like widowed maid and mischievous child and stuff like that.
Also, but before we move on, I just want to mention this because I just thought it was very funny. But so the cutscene when you're transitioning into the tutorial, it's just Jack walking through a field while "My Way" by Frank Sinatra plays.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up.
It cuts off right before he says "My Way." He says, "I did it," and then it fades to black.
Then it just fades to black. Yeah.
Where if they had extended it like 2-3 more seconds,
you'd have actually gotten more out of that song.
It feels like ending it before that blows my mind. It's like, why did you even license that song if you're gonna cut it off?
So here's the weird thing, though. As he's walking through the field, he's got like a Bluetooth headset in his ear.
Yes,
and he's holding his smartphone, which gives you the impression he's actually listening to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's just listening to Frank Sinatra through his ear pods. And through his AirPods, like in the middle of a field.
So Derek, you asked me a while ago, is this an isekai?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, apparently not. Apparently they're from another kingdom, and them dressing in like modern stuff and having modern technology is just that's the way their kingdom is versus this other kingdom.
I love how little this game seems to give a shit.
This game gives
the
no
audacity of this game.
This game gives no fucks at all. And I will say, Garland's design is pretty badass.
If I may say something real quick.
Please.
So Neo very famously looked like it was going to launch in really rough shape, even after all of the network tests, and then launched in like pretty good shape and continued to get meaningfully updated and cleaned up even post-release.
I want this to be good.
I would not be surprised if from everything I'm hearing, right, from y'all and from other people, Stranger of Paradise maybe launches in like a little bit of rough state, but it's weird. And it's kind of like captivating in its weirdness in the way that like a Nicolas Cage movie is.
That's a really good way of putting it, actually.
And if many years down the road, a lot of people don't maybe look back on Stranger of Paradise fondly as this sort of weird cult. Like, like, who knows where this game is gonna go?
It's just such a
over the
fucking
course of its
crazy
story.
way, Derek,
It's
to open
just-
the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy. It's such a fucking insane way to open that. I have to respect it.
It's
good.
it's weird. It's like the game is not a disaster in every single way. It's we honestly just don't get projects like this from a lot of
Ever.
publishers anymore. A lot of major publishers anymore. Like it is strange, but there is something to it.
They absolutely recreate that scene from the original Final Fantasy where all the four warriors of light are standing on a hill overlooking Cornelia, and it plays the Final Fantasy theme, and you get that scrawl. Like it fucking absolutely, and it quotes Final Fantasy 1 all the time. It has the exact same opening scroll as the game, where it's like, the winds howl, the earth shakes.
We gotta stop. Honestly, this demo could make you talk about this game for an hour.
I'll end with this. I really fucking want this game to be good. I really hope it's good. Because there's something so incredibly endearingly insane about this game that
I hope some people hate it and some people love it.
Derek, this might actually be
going-
your fucking shit.
Yeah, this game- I mean, there are people that are probably going to pan this rightfully in certain ways, but I think this also might have its own level of cult status for how it plays.
I can absolutely see Derek firing this up, hearing Jack say, "I don't just need to kill chaos. I have a thirst." And I can just see Derek going, "Fuck yes. Let's fucking go." I'm fucking all in on this shit.
I secretly want this game to bomb just because it's on my fantasy critic as the game that's gonna bomb.
Yeah, that's your counter pick, right?
It's my fucking counter pick. So if this game ends up being good, I'm fucked.
I'm so glad that CJ is the one of us who's gonna try to review
It's
that.
going to be great.
This is
CJ
his first
reviews
Final
this-
Fantasy game.
Yeah.
This is
Oh.
CJ's first Final Fantasy game.
This is
I would, not
introduction to the
be,
franchise.
I would not be surprised if halfway through the game, what's the main character, Jack?
Yeah.
He just fucking grabs a skateboard and just starts
Yeah.
just ripping down a hill or something like that. And
CJ
CJ's
is
just
going
like,
to be-
he's like, fucking yes.
CJ's gonna hate this game for exactly 2 hours and 47 minutes. And then he's gonna go radio silent for a few days, and then he's gonna come back and try to convince us how it's the best game ever made.
This is absolutely the Shadow the Hedgehog of Final Fantasy, 110%. And I have to respect it for that.
Oh my god, you were my bud on this one. You were like, this game's gonna be trash. It looks so bad. Like,
Let's just say that
John can't fully hate a Final Fantasy game.
of course I
He
can.
has.
Final Fantasy 8 and 2 exist.
I
okay,
will
we're not
fight
doing
you
this
over
again.
Final Fantasy VIII, John.
okay,
Not right now.
next state of play. What's going on there?
State
So,
of play.
so let's talk about the state of play.
Okay, yeah.
So
Okay, can I talk about Exoprimal? please?
absolutely
We got it
not,
because that's the
Justin.
best
Okay,
way they could have opened
title.
that.
First off, that title is incredible.
It's
Second
great.
off, the fact that it's not a Dino Crisis game is the funniest shit
And
ever.
you know they teased Regina in the fucking trailer too. Like
No, okay. So if you didn't watch the state of play, Capcom announced a multiplayer co-op shooter against where you're in
Hordes
like,
of dinosaurs.
you're in combat mech suits against just hordes of dinosaurs. Yes, just give me like
And
again,
they
this-
go past and prominently feature a woman in a sleeveless black like outfit with like short red hair who looks dead up like Regina, and then they're just like,
It's
no,
not-
it's not.
It's oh.
Capcom, you
But
trolls.
here's the thing.
Hold on.
I saw
This
a bunch of people. I
this
saw a
game-
bunch of. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
I'm genuinely really excited for this game.
I'm gonna be cool as hell.
Like it looks a lot like Lost, like the co-op Lost Planet stuff from like Lost Planet
I
2.
miss Lost Planet.
But with dinosaurs and exosuits, and it looks super like. Again, this is another example of we don't get projects like this from major publishers
You
anymore.
know
like
how
this is just
Stranger
a-
Paradise was going to regress me to like an edgy 14-year-old? Exoprimal's going to regress me to like a 7-year-old.
Yeah, no, I am so on board for this silly dinosaur game. And it's like the forecast calls for dinosaur showers and they appear and just like pour out of an orb in the sky. Yes, yes, I will buy that game.
So here's my thing. I'm watching this, I'm watching this data play. And, a portal opens and it just starts raining velociraptors, right? And everybody on Twitter explodes into, oh my God, Dino Crisis? I'm like, guys, this is not fucking Dino Crisis. Are you serious? Come on. Like, this is obviously not Dino Crisis. And if it is Dino Crisis, what the fuck is happening? But, I will be completely honest with you. I'm a little burned by the fact we're getting a dinosaur game from Capcom and it's not Dino Crisis.
So here's the thing.
Because I'm not a big multiplayer guy,
Capcom
so
shares a lot of assets between various projects. I would not be surprised if something comes from Dino Crisis down the line.
This is like a double A budget online game.
This is another one of their attempts at a service game. It'll be a silly, fun project, but now they have a bunch of dinosaur assets.
Hold up, what if they pulled a PT where like you play this whole game and then at the end you fucking like it flips it and you just see Regina and like.
Well, I mean, Dino Crisis has like
die.
a time travel, like a time travel element in its story and stuff. Like it's not. There's going to be several direct references to Dino Crisis.
Yeah, it's going to be.
There's no way that
said in the chat like it doesn't look anything like Dino Crisis like we'd remember it, but it's like really not that far off, right? Because
it
Dino
could
Crisis
also,
2 moved away from the survival horror to like score-based, like, combat-focused gameplay.
And 3 went into space with jetpacks and shit.
Yeah. So like I wouldn't be surprised if it started as a Dino Crisis game at some level and then they were just playing around with concepts and like, fuck it, let's just spin it off into this thing. And the redhead thing, like either that's got to be either an intentional troll or they're just the most dense motherfuckers on the planet to put that in there and like,
or they're specifically making fun of Jaw Muncher. Yeah. Like specifically calling him
Jaw.
There is a non-zero chance that's what they're doing for sure.
Yeah.
So I actually saw that theory being bandied around is that they're indirectly teasing an actual Dino Crisis game. What do you guys think about that? Do you think there's a chance?
No,
not
anytime
you think it's
soon.
done?
People need.
You're not gonna put out like 2 dinosaur-based IP. Like it's just
They were looking at Dino Crisis before. They turned it down for a while. This is something fun they're doing. They might be open to doing Dino Crisis again.
It's a gauging interest in the genre situation.
Somebody in the Discord said this. They don't want to make Dino Crisis, so they're just gonna throw this out there and then be like, "Well, you fuckers hated this, so you're not getting Dino Crisis."
That is a Capcom
Exactly.
move. That is a Capcom move. I kind of want to know what everybody's like highlight of the show was, because there's a lot of fun little announcements.
Fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's
a
where I'm at
good-ass
too.
call.
That's where I'm at too. The
Fucking
minute
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
the minute that got announced, Britt texted me and was like, "Oh shit, John, we're playing Turtles." And I was like, "Yeah, she did." I was like, "Oh fuck yeah." She was like, "And we eating pizza. We're playing Turtles and we eating pizza, and we're gonna stream that shit." And the fucking game is coming out on Switch, which is perfect. I know it's a state of play, but they converted for this. I want Turtles in Time everywhere I fucking go. Turtles in Time. This whole fucking package is worth it for me just for Turtles in Time. I'm fucking all about Turtles in Time.
I mean, aren't there like 9 games in there?
13!
Like that?
13 fucking games.
It's like every version of all of them, right?
I was gonna say
That's how collections should work.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was like my childhood. I never was into the games. I don't care for like these brawler types, but just the sheer amount of games in this collection, given like what a lot of companies do with re-releases and stuff, I was like, fucking respect for just saying like, here's everything and you can have it all. And hopefully hopefully it doesn't come out with one of those like weird, like, oh, these are horrible ports. But
I mean,
no, it can't be. It's
really
Turtles.
cool.
How do you fuck up Turtles?
Well, but I mean, but it is cool because like a lot of these games are from an era where like like the Super NES and Genesis versions of a game could end up being very different.
Totally different games.
And a lot of times when we would get
Yep.
re-releases, they'd be based off of one version, and fans or people that were nostalgic for the other version or just wanted to, see what the differences were, it would just be a port of one of the versions and the other one was gone. And the fact that we actually have all the different versions of it like included in this is really cool. And like I really respect them doing a retro re-release like that.
So I just want to point out that what a year it's going to be in which we're getting both ports of Turtles in Time and fucking Shredder's Revenge. Like I love the Ninja Turtles side-scrolling beat 'em up games, and this is just I'm so fucking happy. This is gonna be fucking great. That was absolutely my highlight of the show. And it sounds like it was yours as well, Britt. That's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really into everything else. Like, it was a very the anime kids ate great that show.
Yeah.
It was a weeb ass state of play.
Hell
that's
yes,
for sure.
it was. I was gonna say I need to, for our two members who are not here. Finn asked me to declare that Square Enix's The Diofield Chronicles is the best thing of the show, which I don't know what to make of Diofield Chronicles.
I'm
but-
gonna pronounce it like Garfield. Diofield.
Yeah,
Garfield Chronicles.
I keep seeing like our buddy Dio's head on Garfield the cat,
Yeah.
and it works. But no, like it's like a weird, like sort of real time strategy RPG from Square Enix, and like I'm kind of about that. It looks
I
like
love
another
that they
like,
named it after one of our community managers. That was pretty cool.
It's like a weird AA budget. It looks like, once again, like something they can take some risks with. I kind of appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And then CJ lost his goddamn mind over JoJo's
The
Adventure
JoJo
All-Star
game.
Battle.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people doing that.
Yes, well, that's a really good game. Like, I played it back on PS3.
I was gonna say that's a remaster, right?
It's a remaster re-release, but they're adding more content because the original version of the game, even with all DLC, like just broke. It was like right around 40 characters. So for them to have like 50-ish characters means that they're adding more content, probably from like later seasons of the show that have now actually been animated. But like that's a surprisingly good fighting game. And it's fun, and JoJo's wild and full of personality, and I think that's something very important for fighting games, is to have a lot of personality to them. So yeah, the Weebs 8. And then for me personally is Gundam Evolution. Like, Gundam Evolution looked sick as shit. Hey, we made Overwatch but Gundam themed. Well, Overwatch 2 ain't ever fucking releasing. So I'm sorry, I don't believe the development update today. So
Wait, there was a development update?
Yeah,
For
beta
Overwatch 2?
in April.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's not real.
It's
It doesn't
just
matter.
Overwatch 1 with some patches.
Whatever. You know what?
Uh,
Gundam Overwatch. I'm here
right.
for it. I'm here for it.
I'll
Wait,
check
I
it
can-
out.
Yeah.
Gundam Watch.
I
Gundam. No.
I was very excited about Returnal co-op.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
Whole
Returnal's
ass
getting
free big update.
I like when that was
It's
announced. I
full
thought for sure.
campaign co-op, right?
Yeah, the full game is co-op. I think that there's also like a new like endless mode called Tower of Sisyphus. I don't think you can co-op in that, but the main game you can fully co-op through. There's new bosses, some new stuff, and it's a free update, and that's coming in just a couple weeks. March 22nd. I really liked Returnal. I didn't get a chance to talk about it on like our Game of the Year show, but it was like my number 3 last year. I think that game's great, and I hope people check it out.
It came out last year? I thought it came out this year.
No, it came out last June.
No, it did. Oh, yeah. My concept of time is dumb.
But yeah, Returnal's really good, and I wasn't expecting to see a Returnal update in a Japanese publisher focused thing, but I guess Sony is the publisher, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. But
So
yeah,
I want to talk
that was
about.
cool. So it was very like that came up very unexpected, and I hope people check that out.
I'm just gonna go real quick, John. I think there
Please
wasn't
go
like
ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate a lot of what was in the state of play. It was mostly way too anime for me, for lack of a better word. But like, it's hey, go get them. Like, good for those people. But I think my standout. Was
Jeff is just the dad in the background. Like, are you winning, son?
Yeah.
Well, it was also really funny because all the people that I usually see that like hate state of plays, like when I enjoy the games, were like, "This was amazing," and I'm like, "It was fine."
This was so for
but
me.
I was gonna say, even though my standout, even though I don't have the game yet, was definitely the Returnal co-op. I think that's a game where, like, I basically played every single Housemarque game they've ever made, and then they put out Returnal, and it was like everything. It's like fucking hard, and like the weird like you couldn't save. The runs are 4 hours long. I hate roguelike. I was like, and then they put in the save system, and they fixed that, and now you can kind of like suspend your run and stuff like that. Okay, they almost got me, and now the idea of being able to play through the whole campaign with is it 2-player co-op or 4, 3?
Two.
What are they?
Two player.
But the idea of like, now I'm not alone, like being able to lean on someone to kind of like help me through that campaign. I'm like 100% now. I'm gonna play this game at some point.
Jeff, I will co-op Returnal with you.
I would love to do that, but you never let me forget that your schedule is a nightmare. So
That's okay. Yeah, that's true. Plus the time difference. Yeah.
if I ever get on the night shift or something like that, we will definitely sync up.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it.
So for years and years and years, I have wanted Square to revisit the Valkyrie franchise.
Oh yeah.
And Valkyrie Profile is one of my favorite, not just my favorite PlayStation games, one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
Such a weird, unique game.
So
I really
cool.
do like the first Valkyrie
So
Profile.
fucking cool. Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria on PS2 is not only one of the most beautiful PS2 games ever made, but also it's fantastic. I've got a copy if you want it. If you want to play it, I'll send it to you and send you my PS2.
I'll figure something out.
I know you will. But Valkyrie Profile 2 also a fucking just a PS2 classic. Great fucking game in every sense of the word. And when I saw that the game they were announcing was Valkyrie Elysium, now this was trademarked. Like earlier this month, the news had leaked that Valkyrie Elysium had been trademarked, and I just kind of assumed that this was like some mobile stuff, right? But it turns out that Valkyrie Elysium is a continuation of the Valkyrie franchise on PS4 and PS5.
Presumably like a good jumping in point too, because
Right.
a lot of people did not play either Valkyrie Profile.
Well, and also, dude, Valkyrie Profile on PS1 fetches about $400. It's a very expensive game because it had a very limited print run. I've still got my copy of it, and I'm not fucking getting rid of it because I don't know if that's ever going to get ported to consoles. I really want Valkyrie Elysium to be great. It looks like a very small budget got poured into this game.
I don't know. I see. Me and you argued about this a little bit, and I think it looks interesting. Like I think it looks like a competent action game from what little we've seen. I think it has kind of an interesting graphical style. Now, granted, I think that part of it is they're going for this kind of they want it to be cel shaded, but they don't want it to be fully cel shaded look.
Like, look at these black outlines around everything. Like
I kind of dig it.
I don't it looks cheap. And granted, it's the Valkyrie franchise. I'm not expecting Final Fantasy levels of, production here,
I
but
only just saw Jeff's comment. I love you, Jeff.
I didn't see. They're great, Jeff. Actually, they're fantastic. I love the fonts.
Just gonna remove me from the call.
I love the fonts. I love the fonts in the Valkyrie franchise, Jeff. They're some of my best fonts.
That was in the freezer.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Oh, shit! I just
an hour
fucking
too
realized
late.
that.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'm on top of it.
So I was looking at the PlayStation blog talking about it, and it says Valkyrie Elysium incorporates elements of the Valkyrie series classic gameplay. Now, Derek, as somebody you played Valkyrie Profile, it had one of the most unique battle systems in any RPG. Extremely fucking
If I
cool.
remember correctly, the
And that game was-
mechanics of that game have been followed up on in some Namco
Well,
Or,
well,
you know.
I'm talking about for its time.
It's still a very uncommon kind of battle system. Yes.
And Britt is right. Like, it's one of the best looking pixel art games there ever has been. Like, it's a gorgeous fucking game.
Well, not even that, just the art.
The
I
art
think
is
it's
great.
One of the,
I love
one
the
of
art
the first
aesthetic,
games
yeah.
to implement,
Yeah.
like when a character's talking, just actual art.
So this made me feel good. Valkyrie Elysium also incorporates elements of the Valkyrie series classic gameplay, such as the Einherjar, recruitable warriors who will join the hero and fight at her side when summoned. It's a beautiful game. It's up in the air. With incredible art design and that captures the spirit of the series in an exciting modern way. On PS5, it's also running in 4K and 60 frames per second, making for an adventure that looks and feels beautifully crisp. Now, this part also makes me feel good. And of course, we must mention the music. Series composer Motoi Sakuraba returns and contributes to the game's stunning score. Valkyrie Profile sounded fucking great. A great score. So to hear that Sakuraba is coming back is really fucking cool. And this game, it says this game takes place in the distant past in a world where Ragnarok, the end times, which was the kind of the backdrop of Valkyrie Profile.
Everyone knows what Ragnarok is
right
at this point. Yeah.
And with the last of his strength, the Allfather creates an emissary of redemption, a lone Valkyrie who can become the salvation of this doomed world. As this brave warrior descends into the ruined land, she encounters many challenges and uncovers the hidden truth behind its impending destruction. So what I'm wondering is, for anybody who's played Valkyrie Profile and Silmeria out there, there are 3 Valkyrie that are mentioned in the franchise. The first one is Lenneth, who you play as in Valkyrie Profile. The second one is Silmeria, who you play as in Valkyrie Profile 2. And then there's Hrist, who is their sister. This is clearly none of those characters.
Yeah, I remember none of the plot details of the first game.
Yeah,
so it's been a very long time.
This is very clearly none of those characters. So I am wondering exactly who this Valkyrie is.
It seems like this game is kind of a labor of love, and that this is a franchise that has not gotten a lot of attention. That if somebody at Square didn't really want to take a try at this game,
for sure,
they wouldn't have. And like the fact that they're bringing back, so the original composer, like this seems like this is a game that genuinely wants to be. And you know what? Maybe it's something that doesn't have the biggest budget in the world. I don't think we really have enough to see.
But here's the thing, though. It doesn't need the biggest budget in the world to be good.
Yeah, I have not seen nearly enough of this game. And I would love to get my hands on it.
I think this is a prime candidate for getting a delay later this year.
Maybe.
When is it supposed to be out?
It just says 2022. That's all.
I mean, Square Enix is releasing a lot of games this year.
That's like 10 fucking games that we know of so
far.
far.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
It's painful.
It is really painful.
Yeah, with Forspoken being delayed to October, I don't see FF16 hitting this year.
I think you're probably right, Justin.
Good for Forspoken, though, which, by the way, looked excellent at this latest showing.
Which is also on my Fantasy Critic, so take all the time you need, Square.
Yep.
Polish that shit.
I'm gonna be fighting for that review code when it comes. That's
I thought we had already agreed that it was.
That's
yours.
my wild card pick for potentially my favorite game of the year. That's given me
We haven't
major
even
Dragon.
played it.
That's why it's my wild card pick.
Ah,
It's giving
okay, I
me
see.
Dragon's Dogma vibes, hardcore. In that, like, this is gonna be a weird game that punches way above its weight class. So, yeah.
Remember what I thought my game of the year was going to be. Did somebody take a list? I don't remember.
Ultimately,
I think you said God of War.
Ultimately, okay. I just like
I know you and I were both just like, shit. There's a Horizon game and a God of War game coming out this year. Like,
I guess I'm glad that Valkyrie, the Valkyrie series is getting attention again. Like you said, Derek, that means somebody at Square Enix is like, we should bring this back.
Yeah, there's a producer that cares, and that means something to me.
What would make sense is because these games are very story heavy. If you were playing Valkyrie Profile 2,
this is going to be a new
lost.
Jumping in point for sure.
Port Valkyrie Profile and Valkyrie Profile 2. They're on Valkyrie Profile is on mobile right now. You
are so on that port old games.
Please,
it's not going to happen.
Port the fucking games. Let people play them. It's like that tweet. It's like Chrono Trigger on PC got an update after 4 years yesterday. They tweeted about it today. You can now play it in widescreen. And Imran, our friend Imran Khan, at Fanbyte, asked a very simple question today. Like he said, no sarcasm, no bullshit. He was like, it's a legit question. Why is this not on consoles? Like, I mean,
You don't have the right, therefore you don't have the right. Oh, you don't have the right.
I don't
That's
understand
why.
what you mean.
I'm making fun of the fucking Elden Ring messages.
Oh,
that
okay.
you've seen a
Oh,
billion of,
right.
and I know
Okay,
you have.
right.
But no, just because fuck us. That's why. That's why old games
Like,
don't get ported.
It makes sense to port Chrono Trigger before Chrono Cross, but that doesn't seem to fucking matter. But yeah, I don't know. Like it just Valkyrie Elysium. I hope it's good, but it also made me sad that a lot of these games are just kind of becoming lost to time. So
If only there was a way to play old and completely unavailable video games for free.
Derek, is there such a way?
I've never heard of it.
Interesting. Well, perhaps one day we'll discover.
I would
a
pay
way.
for games if they became available on modern storefronts. But
Well, Derek, let's just say that you're a person I always love to emulate in my personal life.
yeah, a person of great culture. Yeah,
Absolutely.
preservation.
You are a source of emulation for me.
That didn't work. That one
No.
didn't work.
I love you, John, but that sucked shit.
I think it did. Well, fuck all of you then. Like I tried my hardest. What else did we get at the state of play here?
That was like it. There was some
was
other
most
little
of
shit.
it.
no,
There's a
oh
Giga
no, hey,
Bash looked
no, we
cute.
got no. We got my fucking game of the show. We got Trek to Yomi.
I didn't feel that one.
This shit looks good, man.
Yeah.
A cinematic experience set in Edo, Japan. I'm all fucking about this, dude.
Yeah,
Black and white.
I don't
This
know.
shit looks fucking great, dude. I'm surprised you're not talking about that Gundam game, Gundam
I
Evolution.
did, earlier.
He did.
Oh, I must have missed that. I was thinking about Valkyrie profile. But
I love you, John. John had never seen Vox Machina, and I got him to watch the first 3 episodes with me.
That
And-
shit
and
was
he really
great.
does understand that he's grog now. Like
that shit was
you
great.
big dumb muscular idiot. I love you.
What's Vox Machina?
It's a
We'll
really
talk
cool.
later. Then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ghostwire Tokyo was there. When is this
Ghostwire
coming
looks
out?
cool.
It
That's
looks
in
cool.
like 2 weeks.
Is that soon? It's that soon, huh?
It's the end of the month.
What was this? Giga Bash. It looked like
that
whatever.
looks cute. Whatever. It's like War of the
uh,
Monsters, kinda.
And then we saw. I think we covered everything. There was that 10-second clip of Stranger Paradise, and then the demo that leaked. I love that the demo leaked. Like everybody knew it was coming before the state of play. Was there anything here that anybody expected to see, and we didn't get? Like Final Fantasy 16 aside.
Wild card was wondering if we'd see Sonic Frontiers at that show.
I remember
you
you
want to talk
mentioning
about
that, yeah.
Japanese developers and publishers, I was like, Sonic Frontiers is another one of those wild card games that like we ought to see sometime soon, and
So
it'll happen.
I predicted this for a few state of plays, but I'm surprised we haven't gotten like an update on like DLC for Resident Evil Village.
That's what
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
say.
I thought they
fully-
said they weren't doing DLC for Village.
No, they
They
are.
haven't said anything.
I thought that well they announced that they were
no,
gonna.
they were going to. Yeah,
Oh, they did say something.
yeah, they did.
I don't
and
think they
I was-
planned to, and then the game sold stupid well, and they were like, "Well, yeah, clearly we're gonna."
I was 100%
Get this
convinced
video,
we
I
were
swear
gonna
to
see.
Jesus.
I was convinced we were gonna see Village DLC here. That was the one I thought for sure was.
We
gonna
saw
be
Exo
here.
Prime one. I was like, "That's our one Capcom thing."
Yeah,
for the
that's
show.
our Capcom game.
But I am excited. This wasn't from the state of play, but they did announce that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 are going to be getting next gen versions.
I'll be replaying
Yes,
all
love
those.
that.
I'll be
as a
replaying
free
all of them.
upgrade.
All of them.
So that's awesome. Those games
Thank you,
rule.
Capcom.
I was actually thinking we might get the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster announced at the state of play. It seemed like it would be a good time to do that,
and
and
you're
that
talking
didn't
about
happen.
the Final Fantasy 9 remake, and
Yeah, like I mean, I figured we were gonna get something Final Fantasy there, and we did. It's just was Stranger Paradise, but yeah, I thought Tactics might have made sense. It's a port we all know is happening. So
You know what was funny is a lot of people were talking about that Diofield Chronicles and going, why didn't they just make this Final Fantasy Tactics? And my immediate response to that was like, God damn, can we not allow things to be new things?
I thought it looked fine.
Yeah, it looks. I want to see more of it. As always, what little we saw was not nearly enough to judge. But like, you don't have to hear tactical RPG from Square Enix and immediately go, well, why isn't this the one Square Enix tactical RPG I love? Like,
You know what else?
Let companies publish new things.
You know what else I thought might have been there that was the Dragon Quest 3 2D or HD 2D remake.
We are due for some news on that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because that's a very simple game. So I'm curious what they're doing to that to make it.
I
like,
wonder if it
more of
comes
a
out.
modern game.
I wonder if it's coming out this year. I think it might not, because I mean we're getting that HD 2D localization of Live Alive, and I don't see them flooding the market with a shitload of HD 2D games in a single year. So who knows?
There's a lot of Dragon Quest stuff we need more updates on.
I was hoping for some Dragon Quest, maybe like Rocket Slime or fucking something Dragon Quest related. We didn't get that.
They've already said there's a new Dragon Quest Monsters project in the works.
I remember that. Yeah.
See at a later date.
Are they still working on 10 offline or whatever?
Yeah,
they
there's
are.
that.
Yeah, but Jeff, that has not been confirmed to be localized.
Okay.
So
Didn't they explicitly say it wasn't going to be?
I don't think.
I mean, 10 was never localized, right?
It was not.
Yeah,
No.
so-
I don't think they said. either way, Justin.
Or maybe I was thinking of that 10 one.
So
whatever.
10 was 10 was the MMORPG that never
Okay,
got
that was the
localized.
one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
that was
right.
the one I was thinking of.
I never thought we'd see 12 there. It's way too soon for that. I was thinking that we might see something from Atlas there.
Yeah, you'd think we'd see one of the other Persona projects that they have.
Yeah, like
some game
Persona
to be
4
ported.
Golden coming to PS5 or something,
Yeah.
or like Persona 2 Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment getting ported or remakes or something.
Persona 3 existing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
God, give Persona 3 another chance at life, for God's sake. And that's another thing. Like, weren't we due for some more Atlas announcements by the end of February, Derek? And we didn't really get anything.
I thought so, but I mean, I just don't. You know what? They're gonna announce whatever they're gonna announce in their own time. Whatever.
I mean, we also knew this was only going to be like 20 minutes.
Yeah. This was never
So,
gonna
like,
be. We got a surprising amount in 20 minutes.
We
so.
did, and I love that Sony is now fully embraced the old Nintendo Direct formula. It works much better. So that's really all I've got on the state of play. I don't know if you guys.
I thought it was good. Good
It was
weeaboo
fine.
shit.
It was
For
fine.
me. Just for me.
It was definitely fine. Brick, did you have anything you wanted to add about the state of play? Anything that's any pressing issues for you?
Nothing there was as cool as you, Brett.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's my Resident Evil 6 lead.
Nice. Appreciate it. Nice. Nice.
Every time that gets brought up,
Nice.
you can't help it.
Well,
everybody listening is gonna hate themselves.
I
in
love-
this segment.
He reminds me of a Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps saluting. Like you'll salute so hard that your hand fucking. It's like.
No, I don't know that.
No, I don't know how that
Well, I know
goes,
that,
God.
and like he fucking thumbs up so goddamn hard that he's like, "Ugh." Like I love it.
Appreciate it.
It's just like it's on a string and not even stable.
I like the only thing I remember from that is Conan used to play video games on his show, and he got to that part and he was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Nice.
No, that's
Nice.
Just give me more Final Fantasy. That's all I want.
honestly, fucking get that bot out of here.
I'm trying. I
Rars
don't
on
know
it.
how to be
Rars
mod.
on it.
That stupid follow bots. Although I will, you know what? Let's go to follows and get some fucking get some
got
follow bots.
Yeah, let's follow Radio K Anal.
Yeah,
99
that's
for
the
sure.
one. That's the one. So we are 2 at once. No, Rar makes it that was actually two different follow bots at the same time.
I got one and Rar got one. It was fun.
Dude, that's what we call both barrels. When Justin and Rar go full
That's what
ham.
the straights call both barrels anyway.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
done. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Somebody clip
And on
Brittany's
that
reaction
note-
there. Somebody clip Brittany's reaction there. That was perfect. No, we are pushing up against our time here. Jesus, Derek. No, this was great. It's been a long week, and I think we all needed this. So next week we got Stranger in Paradise coming out on Friday. I fully expect we'll get a code for that.
You are forgetting something very, very important that we are supposed to be playing this weekend.
What's that?
Chocobo GP.
He brought that up earlier.
I brought that up before you got here.
Oh, well, fuck me.
I look
We
forward
are-
to watching y'all play some Chocobo GP. It's gonna be great.
We are
Is
absolutely.
it on Switch only?
It is. It's a Switch
Okay.
exclusive. And we are absolutely going to be playing some motherfucking Chocobo GP. You can rest assured of that. Britt, I played a little bit before we came on. It's pretty fucking delightful. It's delightful. It's just a fun Final Fantasy kart racer. It's not going to fucking change the world, but it never needed to. As you can see in chat right there, we've got some fucking sick ass merch, and stock has been replenished in various sizes. So go get that. Every single dollar you spend goes towards numerous charities like Black Girls Code, Take This, and the Trevor Project. So please go and support some good causes. Drape yourselves in our finery. Our shirts are fucking extremely comfortable, and I'm not just saying that. They are massively fucking comfortable. So go do that. We have a Discord right there where we've got over 350 really cool people just like us, just like you, talking about some good wholesome video game shit. So it's a good place. It's a good place to Jeff. Jesus Christ, it's a good place to. Fuck Jeff! Jeff is like fucking me up in chat over here with this font. Every time I look over,
never heard anyone talk about fonts in a video game until like the last year.
Always
it's just like,
John.
fucking font.
you can fucking count on me to talk about some goddamn fonts. All right, like Britt will attest to the fact that when Chrono Cross Remaster was announced, my first thing was, look at those ugly ass fonts. I wish they would change the fucking fonts. And they did. They gave you an option for old school fonts. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you, Square.
Hey John, since you're a big font guy, have you stopped to consider that if there's a Comic Sans, there must therefore be a Comic Serif?
Good night, everybody.
Derek.
Justin. Just very softly, very calmly
I don't
ASMR.
like that.
Good night, everybody. We're wrapping
Derek-
up the show. That's it. Good night.
Derek, I don't like that you did that. I just straight up don't like it. I don't approve. All right, everyone. Listen up. On a serious note, there's a lot of bullshit going on in the world right now. Do what you have to do to find yourself some peace. Whether that's play a game, pet a dog, hold a loved one, or just go take a walk. There's no shame in admitting that you need help, and if you do need some mental help, there are tons of resources out there for you. You just have to go. You just have to go make the call or send the email or walk into the office. And I really strongly urge that you do that. It's important right now to not just take care of each other, but also to take care of yourselves. A lot of chaos going on out there right now. Nobody make a Stranger in Paradise joke. I just realized what I said. I saw fucking Derek's jaw quivering. Derek, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. And with that, everybody take it easy. Remember, kindness costs nothing. We'll see you next week.